Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. This is a guide for preseason round 1 of the Manufacturer series. Let's get this started. For this first turn, you want to bring yourself to the left and brake right after the 100-meter mark. Bring yourself to the inside as there's a little dip that will help you with the car's rotation. You also want to start to accelerate as soon as you can because you'll be going flat out for a good while. You'll be taking this part flat out, but you need to follow a specific line. Get on top of the curb on the left, and right after it ends, slowly bring yourself to the right. Don't turn in too early, otherwise you'll end up going off track. As you go on top of the hill, take advantage of the curb on the left and continue going flat out for the rest of the straight. Look for the curb on the left as you'll start to brake right before it starts. Brake as much as you can, then bring yourself to the inside without hitting the green bollards. Control your throttle for these next few turns. Bring yourself to the left and try to take this right-hander flat out if possible. Stay on the left and then once again start to brake before the curb on the left starts. Try to stay on the inside and you'll be accelerating pretty late into the turn. Then go on the right and you want to brake a little bit early for this turn. You'll be using just a little bit of braking and this will get your car to rotate. Do not hit the bollards on the left and carefully accelerate your way down this hill. Now for the pull-on corners, you want to look for this black board that is on the right. Brake before you pass it, but you'll be using about half of your braking power. Just focus on slowing down and rotating and carefully start to accelerate your way down the hill once again. Brake just before the curb on the left starts, bring yourself to the inside and carefully start to accelerate. Ease off the throttle for this left-hander, do not get on the AstroTurf on the right. Now brake before the curb on the left starts and you want to be very patient with the throttle as you don't want to get on the AstroTurf on the left. And make sure you take this turn flat out. Now let's go ahead and fast forward through this a little bit. Bring yourself to the right side of the track as you'll be taking this turn flat out. Now get yourself ready for the bus stop. Bring yourself to the left and brake right after you pass the 150-meter sign. Brake as much as you can and ease off on the braking once you start to turn to get the cars to rotate. Use a short burst of braking for the final turn. Just get the car to rotate, quickly get on the throttle, and you are good to go. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For this race, there are 3 notable strategies that I came across. The first one is where you start from racing soft tires, change onto racing medium tires, but you do a lot of fuel saving. The second strategy is basically the same thing, but you do some fuel saving, but at the same time you push the car a little bit more, so you'll need to actually refuel when you come in to change your tires. And the third strategy is going for a no stop, so racing medium tires only since that's the required tire compound, and you'll be doing a lot of fuel saving throughout the entire race. For all 3 strategies, one thing they have in common is that you want to try to stay behind someone. Because fuel is an issue here in this race, you want to try to stretch out your fuel life as much as you can. So you'll be short shifting, adjusting your fuel mapping, and just trying to stay behind someone. Because trust me, the longer you stay behind someone and fuel save along the way, you'll end up having more fuel in the long run, and depending on the strategy you're going, you'll be either able to have just enough fuel to push a little bit harder, or if you're going in for a pit stop, you'll be able to spend less time getting your car refueled. So these first 2 clips were of me doing the mega fuel saving but changing the tires from racing soft into racing medium. GT Nebula, he was actually doing racing medium into racing soft tires, but he was pushing it a bit more, so he was doing the second strategy. And also I want to note the first and second strategies, the tire order, they're interchangeable, so you can either start on racing medium tires, switch on over to racing soft tires, or vice versa. One thing to note is that the way you start on Spa is going to be a little bit awkward, so if you're like me, I'm already 2 to 3 seconds behind first place. And the further down you go through the bus stop, the gap is going to be a little bit awkward. Now for these next couple of clips, I'm pushing a bit more, but at the same time, I'm keeping in mind that I need to feel safe a bit along the way. And eventually I'm going to end up catching up to him because the Nissan GT-R, while it's great when it comes to the straights, it struggles in the corners, so I was able to eventually catch up to him. I'm not sure if he was fuel saving, but if he was doing that, then that helped me catch up to him. Now, since I'm basically right behind him, I can fiddle around some more with the fuel map settings, and when we're going through corners like these, I can go down to fuel map 6, just trying to stretch out that fuel life while I'm pushing the car a bit more. In a moment we'll see how he's doing. So he's been pushing it a bit more, but his front tires have a lot more wear than my tires, and that's because the Nissan GT-R, it really wears down its front tires. So as long as you have someone to be behind, you don't want to battle it out with them unless if you know that their tires are pretty much gone or they mess up big time. But let's just assume that you have someone that is constantly ahead of you, so you're right behind someone within the 1.5 second gap, and all you need to do is just make sure you don't get too close to them to have them think that you're battling it out with them, but not be too far to where you lose their slipstream. So here I'm down to 39% fuel, someone else is pitting in with 14% fuel. GT Nebula, he's doing the same strategy, so mediums into softs, basically the reverse version of what I'm doing for the second strategy, and we're both going to refuel a bit. So I don't need to refuel too much. The fuel saving while pushing has been working out so far so good, and we're going to go ahead and make our way down to the second stint. I actually put in a tiny bit more fuel than what I needed, and this is just in case I need to push a bit more. I'll know I have that little extra fuel, so I can feel a bit more confident that I can push the car more and just not worry about running out of fuel. So that strategy gave me pretty good results. Now for the third strategy, this is where I'm going for the no stop. I basically need to do mega fuel saving, and I need to look for someone to get behind. The thing was that on the first lap I started at pole position, so I basically had to do a ton of fuel saving while waiting for these two lovely people to catch up to me. Now that they caught up to me, I'm just going to go ahead and stay right behind them the entire time, and they're basically going to be able to tow me for a good chunk of the race. As long as I'm within the 1.5 second gap, then I don't have to worry too much about losing them and then having to resort to fuel saving like crazy. But I mean, I'm already fuel saving like crazy in this part, so. But anyways, going on to the next clip, same race, and I was able to stay behind GT Nebula the entire time. He's doing the same strategy again of going from racing medium tires to racing soft tires, and he's going to refuel a little bit, and he had to push the car a bit more, and this is where it gets really risky. So I wasn't too far from him, so I'm going to get a major gap on him when he leaves the pit stop. So pretty much once I pass Eau Rouge, that's when he's exiting the pit stop. Now this is a very high risk strategy because part of the fate's going to depend on how much fuel that person has. So GT Nebula, he was at 35% fuel. If he did any more fuel saving, then I'd be in big trouble because I mean there's this thing called tire wear. So as you see here, tire wear, and my tires are pretty much gone. GT Nebula, he was able to close the insane gap of like 16 plus seconds, and he was able to finish right behind me with about a 1 second gap. And this was him doing the racing medium into soft strategy, which is basically the reverse version of strategy 2. And once again, if he did any more fuel saving, he would have had me and I would have been almost defenseless. So depending where you start, you either want to start on racing soft tire, then go on over to racing medium tires, or do basically the reverse of that. The thing is that with the awkward starting layout, let's say you're starting around the bus stop or even further back behind it, you can think about starting on racing medium tires, and that way you can of course get the tire requirement out of the way. And once you switch on over to the racing soft tire, your car will be lighter since you used up a lot of fuel, and you'll be able to catch up to those who are doing the racing soft into medium tires, because their times are going to be a little bit slower. Your times will be a little bit faster because you're now on racing soft tires. But as you saw from the first strategy, GT Nebula and I, we were doing basically the reverse order of the strategies, except I was fuel saving a lot more, but we almost finished at nearly the same time. But whatever you do for your strategy, just make sure you find someone to hang out behind so you can maximize your fuel saving. Now, about the racing hard tires, I couldn't really find a reason why using those tires would be useful, unless if you're in a car that has insane tire wear like the Nissan GT-R. But in this clip, this individual was using the Nissan GT-R. He was on racing soft tires, and he was doing alright for the most part, and he pitted at around lap 5 if I remember correctly. And the thing is that if you're on the racing hard tires, of course your times are slower because you have less grip, but you risk getting left behind. So is it worth it to do racing hard tires? I don't think so, to be honest. So yeah, so don't worry about using racing hard tires unless if you find something really good about it. Then feel free to let me know in the comments below. But anyways, that's all I have to say for now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA, wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.